So this week on the Boss Garage, we're gonna build a garage. Alright, something different on the Boss Garage this week. We are gonna build a garage. I'm gonna show you guys start to finish how we're gonna go about that, right from the permit stage to inspections to final completion. And rather than doing 3 videos on Sunday, this is the only video because we'll be releasing 1 video each day this week to show the progress of our build. Whenever we get our permits, we'll start that series. There's 3 different kinds of buildings you can put up: pole barn, floating, and a studded building. Pole barn is by far the cheapest, and that's the route that we're gonna go. So with the permit stage, the town needs to you to go and ask for an application, fill out all the information that they require on there, and they'll let you know which jurisdictions you have to get approval from, whether in wetlands, highway, things like that. They need an overhead shot of the building that you're going to put up to show exactly where the windows and the doors are going to be, sizes, which is what this is. They also need a side view of how structurally you're going to build it. So we're pole barn sitting on a 2-foot concrete slab. If you guys want to see in greater detail on how we do this building, head over to Patreon right now and I'll go step by step on how to go about this pole barn. If you guys are interested and you want me to draw you a studded building or a floating slab, I can do that too. Here in our town, I'm not allowed to make the drawings for the customer, but the customer can submit his own. So I'm gonna draw these, give them to my brother, he's gonna copy them or put his name on this, whatever, and then submit those to the town. They're gonna approve it. As soon as we have approval, we can get a couple quotes from different lumber suppliers. And I always say get a couple quotes because sometimes they're all over the map. So once we have our quotes, we're gonna order our materials. Hopefully all our materials will be on site, and when the weather's good, we're gonna crack at it. Hopefully we're gonna be able to release 1 video every day and then finish it off in a week. Now this is 28 by 38 with the trusses on 2-foot center. So I'll also be installing the overhead door. I'll show you guys how to do that. So with all that, I don't think we'll be able to do it in 5 days, might take 6. But as long as all the materials are there, we should be able to get pretty well most of it done in 1 week anyway. So here we go. Time to get out of the shop for a bit, smell some cedar instead of diesel, and yeah, here we go. We're gonna start by squaring up the building and sorting out the lumber, drilling some holes, and pouring some concrete today. I'll show you guys the job site here. Ford. I like your rockers, Luke. You could at least trim it.
That's what my neighbor said to me yesterday too. You know what, just because of that comment, I'm going to do the other side and leave it, and I'll let it even hang down further.
Nice.
They just don't care.
All we're doing here is putting a fence. You see where we got our stakes for the actual outside of the building. What we do is put these fences up about 6 feet out so we can still run the skid steer, drill the holes, put our string line up, but then take it back down again, and we can move the nails back and forth on the 2x4 so we can get it perfectly square, take the line down, drill the holes, put the line back up again, and then set our posts. So here we go. When you're running your string line, to make sure that the strings don't touch each other, if this string line was below this one, it would pull it down, and then your lines don't always meet up. So it helps if you laser the fences so that they're all the same height, because now when we run it, if they're all the same height, then it doesn't really, one's not really dragging on the other. But I'm checking the length and the width, making sure those are right, and then we'll square it up by going corner to corner. When we're marking the X for the posts, we stay in 3 inches off the line. The line's actually there, but because the outside of the post is 6 inches, so the outside of the post will be the string line. So we drill the hole 3 inches in, but still centered in the middle of the line. 38. Now you can measure from the other side and make sure you end up in the same spot, right? You want 8, and then you said 14?
Damn.
It's like you did this before.
Can't have any sand, gravel, or water in the bottom of the holes because the concrete doesn't like that. I think you went past 4 feet on that one, Mike. So we're gonna mark the trusses on the face where we're gonna lay our 2x4s. So we're gonna mark them all on the ground while we're there. So when they dropped the trusses, they did a pretty good job. So you want to make it nice and straight all the way across, and then we can mark the top one, the bottom one, run a level down, and then put a line with an X on it where the 2x4 sits every 2 feet, along with the runners on the bottom cord, and there might be some in the webbing too. So each truss will be different, each design will be different. They calculate it in our area, how much snow load we get and whatnot, as to how to design the truss and how much strapping and bracing it needs. So they just tap along back and forth a few times. If you have a 2x6 top cord, because the fascia is 2x6, you have to take a saw and just cut the bottom corner off, otherwise the bottom of the truss sticks out past the bottom of the fascia, and then you have to trim them all afterwards. So little steps like that save a lot of time while the trusses are on the ground. Here we go. So on the bottom cord we also need bracing, and the truss drawings will show that. We need a row every 10 feet. So when you are marking these, Luke is going to go from the outside in on both sides, because it won't end up even every 10 feet. And if the trusses get spun the other way by the linesman, then the bottom cord won't line up anymore. The top cord will. But by going from the outside and doing the same measurement, then it doesn't matter if it gets spun around, the bottom cord markings still line up. Because we're doing the strapping in 2x6 in the flat between the posts, all the 2x4 gets cut to 16 or 8 feet and gets marked right away. So when we get the 16 footers, they're actually 16 foot and a quarter, so they have to be cut exactly 16, and then we mark them. Our trusses are spaced every 2 feet apart. So what we do is we put a line 3/4 of an inch off from 2 feet, and then put an X right on the 2 feet. So when we lay them on the trusses, it doesn't matter whether the X is whether the line is in front of the X, or if the lumber gets turned around and it's on the back of the X, the truss still ends up in the middle. So we take our trusses and we build a section on the ground. They're very light, so the crane has no problem picking it up. We put a beam down the center of it, and then because our trusses are already marked with a line and an X, the 2x4 lays on top, and then you line up the line on the 2x4 for the truss. Now it's just zipping away, just like a puzzle that you really can't screw up. We don't put the seams on the same truss, so we start off with an 8-footer and then have it hanging out 2 feet and then 4 feet, so that it's nice and strong. We never nail the end truss solid, because we'll level the whole trusses and brace it, but when it's time to nail this one solid, we'll run a chalk line and then have this truss 100% perfectly straight on both ends. Even if these are off a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, you'll never ever see that, but the end truss you do. And wood does move, wood warps, and also this truss is on 2 foot on the center, but the 2 foot on our line is actually to the outside of the truss, because the building end to end is an even number, right? So this line doesn't work on this truss. Once we do that, we climb up. We have one guy on each wall. We have somebody on the lanyard, and the crane operator, and just one guy on the peak. And we just ask for some lumber. We'll have the lumber up here already, and just do one truss at a time. So generally, whether it's 2 foot centers or 4 foot centers, we can get the crane in and out in a couple hours, and then spend the rest of the day bracing, making sure we don't do it again twice. So yeah, we're waiting for concrete to fill the bottom of the holes. The holes are all nice and clean. We passed inspection for that. So we need 2 feet of concrete in the bottom, and then we set our posts on top. And like I said in the drawings, we're not going to do a double pour on this one. They're getting carried away with buildings, fear of them blowing away. This one only has the one door in the front, so there's really no amount of wind coming in that'll lift the building up. So we're just setting the post on top of the 2 feet concrete and then backfilling. So as soon as the concrete's here, we can throw the concrete in, and then we can start laying out our posts. We'll be setting the posts tomorrow morning. So here we go. So it's about 2 o'clock on Monday. We've got our roof built, we've got concrete in the holes, we've got our lumber sorted. We were supposed to get roof steel today and wall steel. Apparently the roof steel's not coming because we could have drilled that for the roof, but have to wait for the concrete to dry to set the posts. So we'll do that in the morning. We're gonna go home and I'll probably work on some stuff in the shop. It's kind of disappointing that we don't have everything, but that's the way it goes. So, see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because you never know what you're going to see next week on DeBoss Garage. If you like what you see, there's a lot of stuff happening to help support the channel. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.